You ever find yourself stuck in a rut of thought? Just stuck. Can't get past that I need to think this through before I decide phase. When you know good and well that thinking alone will get you an entire 0 steps closer to your goal. I know what I'm talking about because I've been there. I've been in that situation for weeks before, just unable to bring myself out of it. Feeling like the only solution to breaking out of this thought spiral was to get the perfect thought that would shed some light on things. But in the words of Myron Golden, that's insanical. But somehow when you're in that state, insanical is reality. It makes all the sense. So how do we break out? Well, I'm gonna tell you what I did, and hopefully by the end of this video, you'll have a way out of your thought pit. I'm gonna give you 5 strategies which have brought massive success for me in the past, the 5th of which I think is the most powerful. I've only discovered its power recently, and I think it's quickly becoming my favorite way to break out of overthinking. First, I think it's important to understand why you got into overthinking in the first place. Understand the problem, as Einstein advises. What causes overthinking? Well, according to calm.com, it can come from several places, including stress, fear, perfectionism, and trauma. For me, it was fear. Fear of making the wrong move, fear of choosing the wrong endeavor, and just wasting my time. It's funny because I've talked about this on my channel before, that all work works, in all labor there is profit, Proverbs 14:23. I shouldn't be worrying about this at all. Yet, like I said, when emotions rise, insanical be insanical, you just can't think straight. So now that we know what's causing overthinking, it's time to combat it. I'm gonna bring you through my process of how I escaped brain jail. Sometimes just doing one of these can bring you out of it, but sometimes it takes doing all of them or even all of them over and over again, like I had to. Let's start with strategy number 1. We're going to think more. You might think I'm joking. I'm not. How does thinking more help an overthinker? Well, it's based on what I call humanity's superpower and super Achilles. It's focus. Because you're focused on the wrong thing. Change your focus. Instead of thinking of whatever you're thinking of, think about your why. Why are you overthinking? Unravel it. Many times this alone can break you out of your overthinking, oftentimes just because you realize how dumb the reason is. Now this next one, I personally need to take advantage of more. I think it was Andrew Huberman who talked about the importance of movement and how it affects your brain and your thinking processes. Numerous self-development thought leaders, gurus, I don't know what you call them, they talk about the importance of walking for their creative processes. I found for myself that just pacing back and forth as I'm thinking out loud to myself has brought so many breakthroughs. It's just movement. You can go outside, you can pace your living room. Just break the monotony of your body posture and go somewhere, preferably on your feet and not by car. This one is especially helpful when you're feeling heightened emotions because of anxiety or overwhelm from the overthinking. The change of pace is extremely effective. The next strategy is related, but pulls you a little bit out of your head. Instead of just thinking or speaking out loud, write it on paper or in a doc. Writing is one of the most powerful methods for gaining clarity and boosting motivation. A lot of the times we're thinking in our head in a very disjointed fashion or going around in circles in the same old thoughts. Writing things out helps to keep us honest and helps us to also see our thoughts clearly and not just think them. One tip for writing, try not to edit yourself. You have to literally ignore your mistakes, especially if you're feeling very emotional. Like, even leave the grammar mistakes. Just let your thoughts flow. Then you can occasionally go back and read sections. This will help you to get insights along the way. Okay, we're working our way out of our head now. Our next strategy is to take a leap. I made a post the other day about this exact thing. It says, don't know what to do? Pick a step, take a step, check for clarity, rinse and repeat. The idea is to do one thing that you know you should do, no matter how small. Just dive in and try to move yourself into action and out of your head. This is a very powerful one because it has the potential to break you into rapid forward momentum. This is also a good tip for whenever you're feeling lost and you're not necessarily overthinking. It's just a great jumpstart strategy in general. I fall back on it a lot. But after discovering this next one, I might have a new favorite. Recently, I've been going ham on the self-dev courses and groups and books and communities. And these days I'm a part of probably 3 very steadily, and the benefits I have found have been amazing. I'm talking about accountability, specifically peer accountability. Coaches are great and they do the same thing, but not everybody wants or needs a coach right now. The next best thing is getting friends on a similar journey to team up with as you work your thing. Plus, most of these groups are free. And even if you jump into a paid one, you can just make friends in there and then gather elsewhere afterwards. I have to say that just having a group of people root for you gives you a sense of positive peer pressure that just pushes you out of your head. I know it helped for me. I felt like I owed it to these people who were helping me through this period to beat this challenge, and that alone spurred me on. To be honest, this last one in combination with everything else was rocket fuel for me. It's the reason I got to writing this video. People, shout out to Joel from Value Creators on School and Julian Saad on X. You guys are the best. I might make another video on this, because having people connection in whatever you're doing is super OP. And I don't mean for networking, which it can be. I mean connection, real and genuine relationships. Because when people care, their words actually mean something to you. And that's where their power comes in to break your overthinking. And don't forget, you can use these strategies over and over and all together as much as you need, whatever it takes to break the cycle. Don't quit. Just keep going. It can be done. I know it because I've done it. So now that you're ready to go off and break that overthinking cycle, there's one more thing I think you should consider. It's a principle that I think could be your next breakthrough when you hit analysis paralysis. Find out what it is in that next video.